Hello everyone, my name is Neil and welcome to Silver Threads. Today on r/CryoSleep, we visit our old buddy Faust again. Posted by Dread and Donut. I Am a Robot. Part 2.
Initializing. ID Faust. Damage detected. Central cortex, combat module, automation core, visual matrix, movement impaired. Error. Unknown object detected. Notice. Visual matrix repaired. Activating now.
Everything showed up cleaner than before on my display. I was in a room with concrete walls. The ceiling was concrete as well, and had a single light bulb. I felt pressure on the back of my head and heard a ratcheting noise. I stood up slowly. There was a shout of objection, but it was garbled and hard to understand. I smacked my head.
Notice. Audio restored.
"Trying to help you out, man," said someone. I turned to them. It was Rick.
You helped me. Why?
I asked. Rick sighed. Help people for a living. You ain't different. But you as a thing, you are different, Rick said. Rick spun the socket wrench in his hand. But I might know someone who can help you. Rick walked over to the door. He turned to me. You coming? I shook my head.
Father never...
Rick scoffed. Buddy, if he shot you, he ain't no father. He was correct on a technical level. But what would I call this man? He didn't let you outside, right? So just sit there, Rick said to me, holding up a finger. So I sat on the floor. He came back with a button-up shirt covered in flower patterns. Hibiscus, a flowering plant in the mallow family, according to my data, which could be incorrect and fragmented. He also had a baseball cap and jeans. He held them out. I put them on.
Rick, there is an 85.3% chance this fails.
Rick waved a hand. Relax, it's just for a minute or two.
Command. Start timer. 2-minute timer set.
He invited me outside. I saw the ceiling again, but it was blue with gray spots. I pointed it out to Rick.
Blue ceiling,
I told him. Rick looked up. That's the sky, Faust. It's always there. Can you move around okay? I could. He ushered me to enter his large metal box. I refused.
I dislike these metal boxes. I was locked in one for testing before,
I told him. Rick rubbed the bridge of his nose. It's a car, pal. I'm not locking you up in a death trap. I got in his car and we started moving. How delightful it was. I had to make a memory from this.
Recording started.
Wonderful.
Why do you live in a concrete box, Rick?
I asked. That's my garage, Faust. I don't live in it, my car does. But I moved my car because you were in there. This girl's been outside all night. I felt slightly upset. I patted the inside of the car.
Poor girl.
Rick laughed suddenly. You've got a lot to learn, pal. We arrived at a small house on a hill. There were grinding noises coming from inside. Something inside me tried to activate, but failed due to my damage.
Rick, there may be a threat inside.
I warned him. Rick closed his door and walked around to me. He opened my door. Trust me, there isn't. We walked up the small hill to the house's door. Rick knocked on the door. Cece, you in there? He called.
Who is this Cece?
I asked. She's a friend of mine, good with electronics, more so than I am, and... He was cut off. You're damn right I'm better, said who I deduced was Cece. She held her hand out and Rick slapped it. I stared at Rick's hand. Faust? Rick asked. I looked at him.
Why did you slap each other?
I asked. My question went unanswered, due to something coming from above us. It fell on my chassis. Cece ushered us inside, to which Rick dragged me with him. Rick explained everything to Cece, and she looked excited. So, Rick, you mean to tell me that there is a real-life robot in my house right now? She said, staring at my optics. Rick nodded with a grunt. She felt my chassis, looking excited for some reason. Can you scan people? Lift heavy objects? Beat up people? She cheered.
I can perform scans to determine damage or sickness, and can live up to 578 pounds. As for the question about my ability to beat up people, I don't want to calculate that.
I responded. Cece's smile started to fade. Oh, I'm sorry. Something in my code was peeking through. Something I had lost from my damage.
Hello, Delilah. What brings you into my room?
I said to Mother. Just popping by, she said. She crouched down next to me. How's the test going? She smiled at me.
Father is testing my structural integrity. I am currently impaired and cannot move.
Mother sighed. Sorry, Unit. Here, I've got something for you, she said, reaching into her coat. Look, she said, showing a square of paper. It had 2 people on it. One was Mother and the other was a girl. Someone I didn't know then, but now.
You're Garcia,
I said. The girl called Garcia turned around. You told him my name, Rick? She chuckled.
Delilah,
I said. Garcia looked at me with a surprised expression. How do you know her name?
She was Mother,
is all I said. None of us spoke for about 10 seconds. Rick spoke first by asking, Hey, you think you can fix him? I looked towards Garcia.
Can you fix me, Garcia? My motor functions are slowly failing.
I slowly fell while saying this. Once I hit the floor, I made a deduction.
I have lost motor functions.
Garcia laughed. I can try, and please call me Cece, she said.
Update. Garcia equals Cece.
She looked at my fallen body. You know, Mom did show me some designs of you once when I was younger, but I don't know if I still have them. She only showed them to me twice. This puzzled me. If she bothered to show her, why only twice?
Why twice?
I asked. Cece shrugged. All she was allowed were 2 days. She was with me on my 8th birthday and the day I graduated high school. Fun fact, Rick and I went to the same school. Rick grunted. Sure did. Wouldn't go back to that school for all the money in the world, though. Cece laughed. Oh, come on, you don't miss Mr. Albert's math class? We used to get up to all kinds of shit. I failed to see how this helped fix me.
Excuse me,
I said.
I am unsure how this connects to your knowledge of me.
Cece crouched down by me. Sorry, buddy. Hey, Rick, I'm gonna need a day or 2. Not charging, don't worry. And it's still raining, I see. She trailed off. She was unable to get her words right. A quick scan seemed ideal.
Scan result. Blood pressure normal. Sickness not available. Heart rate slightly higher than normal.
She seemed flustered by something. Did you want to wait in here until it's done? Rick got up. Nah, I've got a client. Me and Javier have to meet him at his house to see what he wants. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon then? He asked. Cece seemed slightly disappointed. Okay, I'll try to have him done by tomorrow. Say hi to Javier for me, she called after him. He waved and left. Cece picked me up and dragged me through her house, dropping me in a room like a concrete box. Deduction. This is a garage, I had to confirm.
Is this what Rick calls a garage?
I asked. Cece shrugged. Used to be. It's my tech playground now. There were various wires and metal contraptions strewn around the large garage.
Question.
I said. She didn't respond.
Question.
I repeated. Cece walked over to a large box. Are you trying to ask a question? She asked me.
Whenever I am to ask a question pertaining to myself, I must state so.
I stated. Cece scoffed. You aren't in a lab. It's just my house, and as far as I'm concerned, my house, my rules. Just go ahead and ask me anything. She came back over to me. While looking through a list of questions to ask, I realized she looked like Mother, except with brown hair with strips of blonde.
How is your hair two colors at once? Humans do not have the ability to color change.
No, we don't. We aren't chameleons, but can you? Cece asked.
I cannot.
I stated. She began to twist something behind my head. I'm taking your head off, okay? It might... Then it went dark. But the darkness wasn't as bad as before. It scared me still, but I had my memories. I could view my memories and search for things still. Was this always possible? When I came back, I was standing. Cece was covered in spots of grease. Her hair was bunched up in the back of her head. Can you move? She asked. I could. It felt smoother than before.
It feels smooth,
I said. Greased up your joints. It'll be smoother from here on out, Cece said.
I feel like I can move more freely now.
I hit my head on a bar. Cece ran over to me. Sorry, I forgot to store that better. Something was crackling inside my head.
I have a message,
I told Cece. You do? From who? I shook my head. I didn't know who, and it was scrambled.
The message is scrambled, but I may be able to decode it in time.
I looked out the garage window. I saw a bird fly by.
A bird!
I exclaimed. You like birds? Cece asked me.
I do. They seem so unbound, so...
I trailed off. Free, Cece said. Now how about that message? She asked.
It can take me anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. The scrambling is bad.
Cece sighed. We can do it later. Come here for a second. Cece waved at me to follow her. She led me to a room with pictures on the walls. The walls were a sage green. The floor was carpeted. There was a dome-like object with a cloth over it. Cece removed the cloth. There was a bird. It was green and gray. This is Bartholomew. Bart for short, Cece said. I waved. Bart spoke. Hello, he said in his scratchy voice. In my research of birds, they were never able to speak. Birds are neat. Then came a very loud pounding from the front door. If you like this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. Or I'll make my bird voice again. If you prefer the podcast format, I upload every episode to the Silver Threads podcast, available on most popular podcast platforms. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you all again next time with another story.